really great fighter. There
And he cooks Thanksgiving dinner every year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to go sometime.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
he must do good food.
He does, yeah. He does some good stuff over there. Yeah, what was the first, do you remember like the first fight that you ever went to, whether it was UFC or boxing or anything?
Yeah,
like,
I do. It was Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali in Madison Square Garden many, many years ago. And I think that was the first fight I went to. I always liked the boxing.
How old were you, remember?
Oh, boy, I don't know. You can deduct it from what I am now, but it was a long time ago. But they were two undefeated fighters. They were both undefeated. Muhammad became a friend of mine. So did Joe, Jolton Joe. They were two great fighters. That fight was incredible. I think they had like many heart attacks that night, literally heart attacks in Madison Square Garden. I think it was Madison Square Garden. And the fight was so unbelievable. Two undefeated heavyweight champions of the world. There was no UFC and there was no competition, really. It was it.
Yeah.
And so you had the two guys. I remember that Muhammad wasn't allowed to fight because of lots of different things. And he was a terrific guy. Both terrific guys, very different.
And they finally made it happen. They finally made
that
bout happen.
They made it happen. So you had two undefeated heavyweight champions fighting.
All right. Welcome to a quick little life review. Well, I would say quick, right? You just never know what we're going to get into. I like to get on here around 3:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to have a conversation. I want to kind of just chillax for a little bit. We're going to play some classic games, and we're going to go into this podcast from Theo Von. I think Theo Von is super funny. That guy is funny. He's naturally funny. You hardly ever get to come across somebody like him, naturally funny. And on this one, he just posted this a couple of days ago, and he interviewed Donald Trump. Now, you can read from the title, right? The homie Donald Trump. We're gonna be just going through the whole podcast and just kind of listening to it. We're gonna play a little bit of games, and I'll pause it here and there whenever we have some feedback. We wanna dissect something that they said that we have an opinion on or a reaction on or anything like that. But first thing first. Let me show you. I actually cracked up like crazy. I was cracking up like crazy when he said this. Like, I think Theo forgot who he was speaking to. Although, as for myself, there's a professional setting, right? There's time and place to act a certain way, right? You can wild out. There's nothing wrong with wilding out or being the class clown or whatever, whatever, right? But then there's a professional setting. This is kind of like a professional setting. He was the president of the United States, and he's running up for presidency. So he's up there, he's up there. So with that said, let me take you to that section first so you can get a quick little laugh before we begin. And then we'll start everything else. So I made sure I captured what time it was that he said that. I'm like, wait, what? Check this out, because they're talking about drugs. Theo has been addicted to so many drugs. Theo, he's very popular. He's a stand-up comedian, and he's been very successful and all that. So, and look at his podcast. His podcast has 3 million subscribers, and I've always mentioned about the whole subscriber thing, but his views are up. So just because somebody can have many subscribers doesn't mean they're doing good. All right, it depends on the views. But anyways, so they're talking about drugs, and then this is where Theo kind of forgets who he's talking about, and look at what he says. So right here.
Oh, yeah.
Up?
Yeah. Cocaine
So you're way up with cocaine more than anything else you can think of.
Cocaine will turn you into a damn owl, homie. You know what I'm saying? It'll...
Cocaine will turn you into an owl, homie. He's calling Donald Trump homie. You know, that's a street slang, right? For somebody like a really close friend, somebody that you can almost say that they're your brothers or your brother. Hey, homie, what's up, homie? I used to use that slang back in the day myself. Hey, what's up, homie? More like even gang related, right? A lot of gang related. Um, Foolios, that's another one. What's up, fool? What's up, fool? What's up, homie? So now they're chopping it up, and then
To help curtail that when you get into office.
So, well, we did a great job. We had
Does that make sense or not?
yes,
that question?
it does make sense, and we had committees, blue ribbon committees in certain cases, but committees that would meet. The big problem we have is, fentanyl is probably the biggest. Opioid is bad. Opioid is bad too.
Yeah.
I think that's bad because everyone thinks, in many cases, they think they're going to do away with pain. And literally the time is so short. If you take it for like 2 weeks, you're almost addicted to it. It's incredible when you think.
Well, all of that is horrible. But
How
why
did
do
you
we
get
allow
How
that
did
to
you get addicted? How did...
No, I would just do cocaine. That was really, yeah. So not just, yeah.
That's
it was-
that's down and dirty, right?
Yeah. And it was, yeah.
But you don't anymore?
No, I don't do
one thing about Donald Trump is that he claims he's never smoked or drank any alcohol in his life. So he's always told that story. Is it true? It might be. It might be. So I don't think he's ever even tried any drug per se. So now we got Theo over here. He said, "Nah, the only thing I've done was cocaine."
do it anymore, man. And I'm not doing
Is
it.
it too much? Too much to handle?
Some of the stuff started to get a real rattle in it too. I don't know where we were even getting it from in this country, but yeah, it started to make me feel like I was a mechanic or
So
something.
the thing you go back to then is alcohol.
We're going to listen to the whole podcast, and I'm going to be pausing on certain moments where you're going to capture Theo. He's actually trying to get a laugh out of Donald Trump, like a good cracking up laugh. I think that it'll be a good accomplishment for somebody to make Donald Trump laugh in a good, hard way, because I don't think I've ever seen him laugh. Like, get a really good laugh out of you. It's good for you. It's good and healthy for you. So
Alcohol for the most part.
Right, yeah, but what I want probably is cocaine, but I know that if I have a drink, then it'll be like, okay, well, I had a drink, then I can do this.
Is cocaine a stronger
Oh, yeah.
up?
Yeah. Cocaine
So
will make
you're way up with cocaine more than anything else you can think of.
cocaine will turn you into a damn owl, homie. You know what I'm saying? You'll be out on your own porch, and you'll be your own street lamp. You're freaking...
And is that a good feeling? Well,
No,
it's a
horrible.
miserable feeling.
But you do it anyway, just like the guy you're saying with the scotch. Like you knew it was bad, but you still...
So it's not even good during...
that is hilarious. All right, so we're going to be listening to the whole podcast.
But your thing is going really great. My son's a big fan of yours, Barron.
Really, Barron is?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
yeah,
He
Barron.
just graduated high school, right?
That's right. He just did. He knows you very well. He said, "Dad, he's big."
Wow.
Yeah, big one.
That's cool.
So that's good.
What,
Well, that's where it is nowadays, right?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I can't believe that we're able to get platforms. And I started in my kitchen, and then, just evolved out of there.
That's fantastic.
I mean, it's pretty unbelievable. What does Barron play?
Do you want to start? You go ahead.
Yeah, we're good. Are we rolling?
Yeah, sure.
We're good. Yeah, that's does Barron play sports or anything?
Hey, what's
He
up?
does.
What's up,
He
Jet?
plays golf and
What's up, Jet? Glad to see the food reviews are back. I'm sick and tired of smart people. Trump face is like, what is this guy talking about? Yeah, it was hilarious. This was actually comedy for me. It was comedy. What? Check it out.
different sports. Soccer, loves soccer. Very good at soccer. He's a good athlete, Barron.
Yeah. Is he gonna go? Has he already picked a college or no?
He has, and he's getting set to go in the fall. Good college, a very good one. And he was always a very good student. He's smart guy.
Which one of your kids? What's something you admire about each one of your sons?
Well, Don is a hunter. He's a great, great hunter, and knows everything about that world and guns and all. He was the first one that said, "Dad, boy, You got lucky because I didn't realize that 130 yards is actually very close in that parlance. And he said, you got lucky. He knew immediately when he saw that. He said, it's incredible because that's considered a pretty close distance.
From how far the shooter was?
Yeah.
Oh,
And the guy wasn't a bad shooter, supposedly. You know, he was a very disturbed guy, but he wasn't a bad shooter. And Eric, likewise, he loves the business. He loves real estate. Also very much of a hunter and understands a lot of things about that. They were sort of, as young guys, they were with their grandfather, and he would take them hunting in Czechoslovakia. And somehow they developed very well. And
Czechoslovakia,
yeah,
damn.
can you imagine?
It's a lot of letters even.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a name you don't hear too much anymore, but it was...
I'd need a scope just to get through the spelling of that word.
That's right.
I think,
A lot of people. A lot of people.
Yeah.
But so he'd go, they'd spend time in Europe and they'd do that. That's where he learned a lot about both of them, really good.
With your dad, they would go?
No, grandfather, actually. They had a grandfather who was a wonderful outdoorsman and athlete. And during the summer, he'd take them out into the woods and they'd go hunting and lots of things, and they loved it. They got to love it. And that's Don and that's Eric.
Yeah, they're funny.
Oh, yeah.
They have a good sense of humor, too. Like, whenever I see them at UFC, it's like...
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just like... The first time I was nervous, I think, and then after that, when I've seen them, it's like it's fun to kind of cut up with them a little bit.
Yeah, well, they're good. They're good guys, and they really they get along great with the rest of the family. We all get along great. We have a good family, but I love UFC. You talk about a great guy. How about Dana White?
Yeah.
The job he does, right?
Yeah, I want to thank Dana too for helping get us set up together. Yeah, he makes it happen.
They're gonna start talking about the whole hunting thing. I was thinking, like, man, I've always been thinking about learning how to properly hunt, because, man, the way the world is going, man, you might have to learn how to hunt and gather yourself and go back to the good old days when we used to hunt and gather, because, man, there's gonna be a time when you're not gonna be able to buy and sell. Once they have control over you being able to buy and sell, you're going to have to abide by their agenda. So, but anyways, let's see. I'm trying to fix the chat. So we're going to continually listen. I'm playing a little bit of Super Mario 3 and I'm going to fix the chat meanwhile.
I like Dana. He doesn't waste words. He doesn't waste time. He likes to, I think, be efficient, and he has seems like a strong sense of integrity for himself.
Yeah, nobody like him, actually. It's, there's an expression that everybody is replaceable. Not Dana.
Yeah.
Nobody could do what he does, and he's made that sport into a big monster sport.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and we
Help
go
me out
there
with
and we
this,
enjoy it, go
chat,
with him.
the chat
Sometimes
box.
we do walk-ons with Dana, and place sort of likes it.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, but
there's
Dana,
a video
yeah,
of
we
us.
have-
I was behind you in one video. I'm sure the dogs here will pull it up. But yeah, those are some of my favorite. Those are some of my favorite things ever. UFC became my favorite sport during the pandemic because
Right.
Dana was brave enough to stay open. You know,
He was it. He
yeah.
was the whole ball game. He was the only sport, and he'd open up in arenas with nothing other than very good fighters.
Yeah.
And they would be fighting. He had some of the best fights during the pandemic.
Yeah.
But he
it
would
was
do that.
exceptional. There it is right there. See, look.
Oh,
there
yeah.
you are, and I'm right behind you there.
Oh,
Clapping
wow.
with that hat on. I'm
yeah.
a white guy in the
that's
hat.
great. That's right. The white guy in the hat is right. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of us there, but I was one of them for sure.
That's right.
Yeah, see, that's me right there.
Good sport, isn't it, huh?
Yeah, I'm a Dustin Poirier fan. So.
Oh, he's great. He was,
know.
boy, I tell you, he's a warrior. That last fight he had, whether you like it or not, he is a warrior.
Yeah. Yeah, it felt like he didn't get the victory, but it didn't feel like he lost.
No, he didn't lose that fight. He really, the man he was fighting was tough. He was tough and didn't expect that same fight. But he oftentimes will, he makes people suffer. There's no question about it. No, he's a pro. He's a professional.
Yeah, he's all heart. He's from Louisiana. That's where I'm from.
As that fight went along, he just got stronger and stronger, and he was getting pounded, and he was going to be choked out about 4 different times, and he just wouldn't let it happen. No, you say hello to him. He's good.
Yeah, I'll make sure to.
He's a really great fighter. There
And he
is.
cooks Thanksgiving dinner every year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to go
All right,
sometime.
all right.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
He must do good
Fix my
food.
chat
he does.
box,
Yeah,
but
he does
I'll-
some
I'll
good
do
stuff
that later.
over there.
What's up?
Yeah,
Your
what was the
voice is
first? Do you remember like the
yeah,
first
I
fight
muted
that you
it.
ever
We're
went to,
trying
whether
fix
it was
the
UFC or
chat.
boxing or anything?
Yeah, I
Trader
do.
Todd, USA,
It
word up.
was
What's up,
Joe
what's up?
Frazier, Muhammad Ali in Madison Square Garden many, many years ago. And I think that was the first fight I went to. I always liked the boxing.
How old were you? Remember?
Oh boy, I don't know. You can deduct it from what I am now, but it was a long time ago. But they were two undefeated fighters. They were both undefeated. Muhammad became a friend of mine. So did Joe, Jolton Joe. They were two great fighters. That fight was incredible. I think they had like many heart attacks that night, literally heart attacks in Madison Square Garden. I think it was Madison Square Garden.
Is that true? That during that fight, that there was many heart attacks, like actual heart attacks. When he said that, I'm like, wait, is he serious? Like many people had heart attacks. Let's look it up. I was intrigued. I'm like, wait a minute, was that true? Like during that fight, people had heart attacks. Versus Ali. Trader Todd USA says flow like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Yep, I'm a bad man. Yeah, he was an amazing boxer and an amazing entertainer and a self hype man. Everything, he had everything. Let's see. Donald Trump. I'm watching Joe Frazier. Let's see. Did Ali have no? I don't think so. I don't think they were having actual heart attacks. I think Trump was just exaggerating. I'm pretty sure it was an awesome fight. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think actual heart attacks.
And the fight was so unbelievable. Two undefeated heavyweight champions of the world. There was no UFC and there was no competition really. It was it.
Yeah.
And so you had to.
Our daily vlogs coming back. Yeah, I'm working on it. Today I posted a food review, how much I hate Subway. And it's funny because if you watch the video, I haven't been there in years. I haven't been to Subway in years. And there's a Subway right by where we moved, our new location. And I never have walked in there. I never really liked Subway. And lo and behold, one of my boot camp members actually works there. And I'm like, you've been here all this time? And I never knew that you were just right there, right by our new training facility. And yeah, she's like, yeah, I've been working here for 3 years. She actually gave me a hookup. If you watch the video, I got a double turkey meat, 6-inch sub with the works for $5. Trader Todd USA says definitely amazing. Yeah, he was
Two
amazing.
guys. Remember that Muhammad wasn't allowed to fight because of lots of different things, and he was a terrific guy. Both terrific guys, very
And they
different.
finally made it happen. They finally
and
made
they
that
made
bout
it happen.
happen.
So you had two undefeated heavyweight champions fighting.
And who took you to the fight? You remember?
I went with my father and my brother Robert, and it was just, I don't know, I must have been very young. It was a long time ago, but you would never forget it. That was one of those moments.
Oh, yeah.
But no, literally, there were like many heart attacks in the arena.
If people having too much fun, or what do
They
you
were
think? It was
just having
drugs?
heart attacks because it was such a crazy event.
Oh, yeah.
It was so, the people were just, I know a friend of mine, the father, he had a bad heart attack. Literally, they took him out. They were taking people out.
It's an early
It was,
KO.
and I don't hear that anymore. I mean, there were other exciting
Yeah.
sporting events. I don't think there's ever been.
He said that was an early KO. I wonder if I didn't see it nowhere on Google. I Googled it, and usually if something is that interesting, that'll come up, and I didn't see anything about that. But he's like, that was an early KO about his friend.
I don't know. I guess that has, but you would think Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, their first fight. But it was a very exciting time.
Yeah, and just people being, I guess, yeah, sometimes our systems aren't ready to handle the amount of excitement that's going on, you know? Like, I think, like, yeah, maybe people just couldn't even handle so much joy. You think it was that people were just so excited.
They had heart attacks.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I don't think so. I think if that's something, if you get a heart attack because of too much excitement, something is definitely wrong with you. You're very unhealthy. So it's not the excitement, it's just your health. You need to, heck no, see? Hey, but yes, too much excitement can kill you if you're unhealthy. So that proves how important exercise and a good diet, at least 80% of a good diet, can take care of you for many, many years. You won't die of a heart attack if you have too much excitement and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're not working out, you better start working out, man. Unless you're a hunter and gatherer. I've always said that before, like, unless you're a hunter and gatherer, you don't really need to work out, because that hunting and gathering it's a workout. It's a full body workout. So that's why they didn't work out. I don't think they worked out when they were hunting and gathering. That was their workout. They were probably done, cooked by the end of the day.
They just had, I guess they do it, maybe Super Bowls or something.
Oh, people have heart attacks eating a thick soup, you know? So it's like, I'm not surprised that something so awesome like that would make your heart be like, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, but I never hear of it, you know, and I'm sure it happens. Just that one. But we had an exciting event the other night with Elon Musk and me.
I listened.
We had a pretty big audience for that one, I can tell you.
Yeah, I listened for probably about like 20 minutes. I thought it was cool. It was. I think the tough part was just like just like it would have been neat if you guys could have been in the same spot, you know. But I still thought it was exceptional.
I heard the audio was great, and actually they put out a clear tape of it because they had clear tape.
Oh, nice.
They had so many millions and millions of people watching, like record numbers of people.
I always have a hard time listening to Elon Musk. Is it just me? But it seems like he kind of utters too much, right? He utters too much or something like that. Maybe because he has so many words in his vocabulary that are different from everybody's else's, so he's not used to using regular words, right? He probably has the whole scientific terminology, right? Building rockets and building Tesla cars and all that, and building machines, and you have all this terminology. So when you have a conversation with somebody that is not to that level of intelligence in regards to building missiles or rockets or whatever, you can't have a conversation. But so every time that I try to listen to Elon Musk, I like that guy. I like Elon Musk. He's pretty awesome. And but man, it's always a hard time. So they made there's a video out. It's like a 2.5 hour video with Donald Trump and Elon Musk discussing many things, which it's intriguing. I'm planning on listening to the whole thing, but again, it's gonna be rough because Elon Musk is hard to understand.
And I'm trying to figure out, we're on a cell phone, or I was, and you know, that's a lot of people coming into a cell phone one way or the other.
Yeah.
But I heard some people had a problem with the audio. I don't know. I don't do that thing. You know, that was done, and we had a great conversation. It was for 2 hours and 15 minutes. They just put out a clear tape of it, a perfect tape of it. But
I'll have to go back and listen to it.
I think I sounded, somebody said your voice was distorted or something. And you know, I guess it happens. Look, it was such a big thing, such a big audience, but I would have loved to have seen the clear tape originally. They put it out right after the show, so now it's a clear tape where a perfect tape done there.
Yeah.
But when it goes through different phone systems and everything else, you think if we were together, that doesn't happen then? Because I think his voice was more clear than
Yeah,
mine.
maybe because he was the one who was like initiating the call. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure about how all that works. But yeah, I know that in post, a lot of times they can tighten things up and make it better. It's amazing how Elon, like, the cost to really have your own voice in the world is $44 billion, basically.
Well,
if you want to have your voice, like, you know what I'm saying? He has his own, like,
You know why he said that? Well, correct me in the comment section. I think he said his voice is worth $44 billion. Why? I think because of the whole buying Twitter, right? Now known as X. He paid a lot of money for that main reason, so that everybody can still practice freedom of speech on the internet, on a platform, because X has no boundaries. You can talk about anything. They're not gonna cancel you. They're not gonna tell you to stop or none of that. But he paid a pretty penny to buy it and then keep it open to freedom of speech, which it should have been done since the beginning. So let me know what you think.
he has his own channel.
And he does what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And he's a fantastic guy. And he's a brilliant person. And the country should be very proud of him, actually. I have Truth, which has been very successful.
True Social, you mean?
True Social, yeah. And that's been very successful in getting my voice out. Well, I needed a voice. Because, I was on Twitter and I was on Instagram. I was on all of it. And I was on Facebook. And when you added it up, I was told by Zuckerberg and others, it was like record-setting type of numbers. And then one day I didn't have anything because they canceled. They canceled.
There's such a collusion there, right?
Yeah, it was a pretty bad thing. And so I had nothing. So after about a month, I have a lot of things to say. And after about a month, I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just go out and put out an old public relations statement. You remember that? And although you're a little young to see it, but in the old days, you'd put out a statement. And I did, and it was just gobbled up. It was really gobbled up, and I opened Truth, and Truth has become terrific, actually, for me.
Platform.
I really want just as a platform. It's more important than anything else. And
at least you have your voice then. You can say what you want to say.
My voice back, yeah. I had hundreds of millions of people. Even now, I haven't been too active on X, but I have, I guess, 90 some odd million people on it, but I was much higher than that when I was
It's like
actually
all
on
the
it.
people. I don't even know how many people there are.
Yeah, it's been, but I love the job he's done, and he's brought a certain voice back into play.
Yeah.
The previous people were terrible.
Yeah.
Every time you do a thing, you'd be red flagged. They'd put up a red flag. Every statement you made, you'd be red flagged.
Yeah, it's almost like, it's like when you have a babysitter and they don't want to have any fun or whatever.
Yeah, right.
That's kind of the vibe I got. When you, because I see you at the fights. I see you, sometimes you'll sit right by Dana, and sometimes I'll sit, like me, I'll go with like David Spade sometimes as a close friend of mine.
Good.
And, I'll see you coming with Kid Rock, and, and you don't drink at the fights.
By the way, Kid Rock is, he's terrific. He came to the convention. He knocked everybody out. He was fantastic. He's a great guy. He's just a great guy. He's popular, very popular.
Oh, he's a real dirt serpent too, dude. He's a freaking legend,
Yeah,
he's a legend.
He is a legend, I guess, in a true sense.
Oh, 100%. People love him, dude. Look at him. I went to his show not long ago somewhere, and I think some guy had a heart attack there too, but it was like, it was more funnel cake related, I think, type of vibes.
He draws big crowds, actually. It's amazing. I saw one, he was out someplace recently at 80,000 people. He's big stuff, but he's forget about that. I call him Bob, his name Bob, right? It's Bob, Kid Rock, but it's Bob. But he's a really good guy. And
I've been over to his house
He's a cool cat, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I live in Nashville. Right when I got into town, he hit me up one night and was like, hey, man, I'm having a birthday party this week and you should come. And I didn't even know him, and it was nice of him. And since then, we've done a lot of fun stuff together. His brother's missing a leg, too, which is crazy. He looks like the lamp. Have you ever seen that movie, The Lamp, like from like a Christmas Story or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's fantastic.
I guess Kid Rock's brother lost a leg. So I'm not laughing at his brother. I'm laughing at Theo. He said that he looks like that leg lamp from the what's it called? That Christmas story, right? A Christmas Story or something like that. That's funny. But very popular lamp leg.
The family, the father I knew very well. He just passed away. And it was a tough
Oh,
one.
you knew his dad?
For the brother. I did. And he was fantastic.
Yeah.
I got to know him through knowing Bob. And I tell you what, it's just a fantastic family, the whole family.
No, I love Bob. He and I joke around together a lot. We've spent a lot of time together. Look at his brother right there.
That's right.
Dude hits
And you know what? He
dingers,
plays
too.
golf and he plays well. He hit a perfect drive with me. I said, "Do you play?" We were on the 17th hole. I said, "Do you play?" He goes, "Yes." I said, "Oh, really? You want to hit a shot?" And he said, "Okay." And
If you think about it, that's pretty cool that although Trump saw him without a leg, he still asked him, "Do you play?" Because anything is still possible. Just because you're missing a leg doesn't mean you can't do almost anything, right? So yeah, his brother plays golf just with one leg. I went golfing one time, and man, that thing is hard with two legs. Imagine with one.
got up. Well, it was very hard for him to
God.
put it was really a tough situation because he has to get the ball in the ground and the tee and everything else. Nobody did it for him. And he did it. I mean, he goes to the ground and he did it, gets up. He swung. And I'm a good golfer. He had a perfect shot out to the right with a little hook. Nobody knows what that means in your audience probably, but that's like a perfect shot. And I said, "That is perfect." He said, "I'll do it again." I said, "Don't do it again because you'll never be able to hit a shot that good." And it was really amazing. He's great. And Bob really.
He'll do it again, too.
They
He's a
love the
repeat
family.
offender.
They
they're
they
great.
really have an amazing family.
Oh,
They
no,
love the
Bob's
family.
great. I've been to parties at his house. You know, one thing that's really nice about him is I'll go do something with him, and then like a few days later, he'll send a nice note, or he'll send like a photo, like a frame photo,
Not
and just say,
surprised.
"Hey, man, I had a nice time."
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed at the events you don't drink, and you don't drink or smoke, right?
I don't drink or smoke.
You never have.
No, I never have. I had a great brother who taught me a lesson. Don't drink. And he said, don't smoke. He smoked and he drank. And he was a great guy. He was a very handsome guy.
Is he older? He was older.
Quite a bit older, yeah. And he had a problem with alcohol and smoke a lot. But, I tell people, no drugs, no drinking, no cigarettes.
Yeah.
I tell that to my kids all the time. I'd say, no drugs, no drinking, no smoke. And
That was tough.
he'd always tell me, he'd say never. So he was, really old enough that you would look up to somebody, and I'd look up to him anyway.
Did you
but-
admire him?
Yeah, I admired so much about him. He had so much going. He had the look. He had
was his name?
unbelievable personality, like an incredible personality.
What was his name, Donald?
His name was Fred Trump. And he had a problem with alcohol. He got addicted to it because they say alcohol is tougher than drugs to get off of. I don't know if you've ever heard that.
I'm
was
in recovery,
surprised.
actually. I've been in recovery, so like most of the last 10 years
From alcohol?
from drugs and alcohol.
So which is worse?
For me, drugs is the problem, but if I have a drink, then it's tougher for me to prevent myself from getting.
It sets off a chain.
Yeah.
But which is harder to quit? I've heard alcohol is harder to quit than drugs, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can only imagine because it's probably more readily available.
More readily, and it's social, and you're sitting and everyone's drinking and all.
Yeah,
'Cause
rarely
nowadays
do you go to a
everyone's taking
dinner and
drugs.
everybody's eating Xanaxes or something, for
Yeah, right.
appetizers. Usually people are having like a mint julep or something a little fancier, Negroni I just learned about.
Right.
But yeah,
So you have a problem with that then?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
it's been in my family. My family, it's like, yeah. it's tough.
Can you stay away from it?
Yeah, I've done a good job. I mean,
So how long have you been off?
I go to recovery meetings. I've been off most recently a little over 2 years.
Do you ever go back on?
Yeah, I've had stints where I go back on
And you don't control it?
it's tough. It goes downhill
No
pretty
kidding.
quick.
So
You think it's going to be
you
easy.
think you're controlling it?
And then you're
Boy,
you're doing
that's tough.
go-kart and racing
So
with
the only
hookers
way
and
you
stuff.
can
It gets
do
bad.
Is just not to do it, right?
Right.
Yeah, next thing you know, you're racing go-karts with hookers. What? This guy. See, remember what I said earlier? He's trying to get Trump to get a good crack up. Trying to crack him up, but I don't think I've never seen Donald Trump crack up. That's gonna be my new saying right there. Like I never seen Donald Trump crack up.
So then in the end, you're like,
Remember that I think Donald Trump, he's around 80. He's up there in age. He's around mid 80s probably. Let's see. Donald Trump age, he is 78. Almost 80. Yeah, he's almost 80 years old.
I have to not do it. Did you see, like, with your brother, could you see it or anything? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Man.
I
that's
was
a bummer.
amazed because he had so much going, he had everything going. I think it happened in college at a fraternity maybe, or I don't know, somewhere along the line it happened. And all of a sudden, this is not unique. This is a very common story, unfortunately. But and then the family would see it and start to notice it. And it didn't get better. It didn't get better. I was amazed. He lived for so long in bad conditions, in terms of, I was amazed that his body could hold out. It held out, and it had bad moments, but his body was unbelievably strong that it could withstand this.
Yeah, it's a body. Your body's just so resilient.
Yeah.
Do you remember the last time that you saw him or spent with him?
I do, and
I'm sorry to ask you about it. Is it all
yeah,
right?
no, it's well, the reason it's good talking about it is it might help other people. If it helps one other person, it's worth the conversation. Frankly.
We talk about that stuff a lot on our podcast.
Yeah.
A lot of our audience struggles or has struggled with alcoholism, addiction, intimacy disorders, all types of stuff. So it's like it's pretty kind of normal
what?
conversation.
Let's
But
look up Donald Trump's brother. When I was listening to this, I was intrigued. I want to know how, what happened to him. So here it is right here. Let's see, Fred Trump. Let me pull it up for you guys. All right, so here's the website. Let's see, Fred Trump. He died in 81, so it's been a long time. It's been around 43 years. So he died 43 years ago. What did he die of? Early life, died 81 at 42 years old. He died very young. Wow. Oh, alcoholism and death. So by 1970, after a series of domestic incidents, Clapp asked Trump to leave their home and arranged for Fred Sr. to change the locks. When his alcoholism prevented him from continuing to function as a pilot, Trump returned to work for his father's business. He eventually moved into the unfurnished attic. Wow. of his parents' house, and again did maintenance on Trump properties. On September 26, 81, at the age of 42, he died from a heart attack caused by his alcohol use. Wow. Yeah, man. Yeah, everything in moderation, right? Because I always say this, alcohol is not the problem. Abusing the alcohol is the problem, because you can say the same thing about food. Food is delicious. It's delicious, it nourishes us, it's good for us. But if you abuse food, it'll kill you as well. Right? You gain all this weight, you get diabetes, you actually get a heart attack as well. You know, so on and so on. You get heart health issues. So wow. Yeah, so there you have it. Now we know.
You know, the interesting thing is, and I tell people, so I never had a cigarette, and I've never had a glass of alcohol. And my brother was incredible. He would tell me, because he knew he had a problem, and he'd say, don't ever drink, don't ever smoke. He'd always add smoking, because he did smoke a lot, which is, you know, not very healthy. But he'd say, don't ever drink, don't ever drink. He'd tell me every time, I said, don't ever drink, because he knew he had this addiction. And I never had a glass of alcohol. Never, ever did I have a glass of alcohol because of him. And I would say that if I did drink, I could, you know, conceivably be the type of personality that would have, like you, that would have a problem. But I never had. And the only thing I say to people is, if, too late for the people that you're talking about, but if you don't drink, you don't miss it. I mean, I don't even think about alcohol or
anything. It's not a part of your world.
I don't think about cigarettes. I don't think about any of that. If you don't take drugs or if you don't have alcohol, it's real easy not to drink it. It's when I had a friend who went to the Wharton School of Finance with me. He was a very smart guy.
Where is it, Wharton School?
That's in Philadelphia. That's at Penn.
Oh, yeah. Rocky.
Right. And it's a great school, great business school. And it's part of the University of Pennsylvania, the business school.
It's nice down there.
Yeah.
My friend's brother went there or something.
Well,
we ate near there
then
once.
he was smart because it's a great school. But this person that I met, he hated the taste of scotch. Hated it. Couldn't stand it. But he insisted on having it because he felt it was important to be able to drink. I said, no, just don't drink. He said, you know, to be successful in business, you have to sort of interact and you have to drink. And I said, don't do it. Anyway, he became an unbelievable alcoholic. Uncontrollable alcoholic.
Oh, I thought you meant like one of the best.
Yeah, and he died. He was but he hated the taste of scotch.
And he still
did it. And then he couldn't live without it. Wow. Literally.
Well, I think I notice a lot of like in the recovery rooms and stuff, it's a lot of people that they're missing something inside of them. And so they take on like, you know, so they want to try and fill it up with something else. Yeah. Do you remember the last time that you spent with your brother?
I do. And he'd have periods where he'd get sick, very sick. And we thought we'd lose him or we lost him. Then he'd get better. And that happened 5 or 6 times. I mean, where you thought you lost him. And then he got better. And it was amazing. I mean, he was, you know, certainly very strong in that sense. And I just tell people it's so tragic. Don't drink. Just don't drink.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have a problem. Like even you, if you didn't drink, you would never, but you probably, maybe wouldn't be successful like you are. You know, it's part of your story, right?
It's helped me a lot. Yeah, because I don't know what would happen probably. I think it's just too risky.
It is risky.
What's something that you miss about him, or like that? Like what's something that you miss about him, Fred?
Well, he was wise in a sense. I mean, think of it. He's got this problem, and it was very important for him to convey to me not to have this problem. And I couldn't have been successful if I had that problem.
Yeah.
If I had that problem, and I think maybe I'm a personality type where I could have had the problem if I drank. But if you don't drink, you're never going to have it. I mean, I don't miss when I see somebody light up a cigarette and just they're in heaven. I don't miss that at all.
It's weird. It's so it's very Native American too.
Isn't it crazy?
Bizarre. And you know, I think sometimes our older brothers, they kind of like they take the speed bumps for us, like as younger brothers, so that we don't have to. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I
My
think
brother
it's
went through a lot of stuff so that I didn't have to go through it, and then I get to see him and learn.
Is he okay now?
Yeah, he's doing great now. But it's like, yeah, that's one of the blessings I think of having an older brother.
Well, you can learn through history too, even if it's not a brother, it's by watching other people. I mean, you can see if you have a friend who's an alcoholic, or even just by reading about people, you can learn.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a brother, but in this case, it was very personal. It was a brother, and I learned not to drink, and I learned not to smoke cigarettes. Now, I don't know that I would have smoked cigarettes. I probably would have drank. I think, there's no reason not to drink, but I had a reason because he told me, just
that was it.
Don't do it, yeah.
Yeah. That was kind of a blessing then, huh?
Yeah.
And where did you guys ever do anything fun together, like one nice memory that you have with him?
He had a great talent for flying. He was a pilot.
Oh, sweet.
And he loved it. And
did you ever fly with him?
I did. I flew with him. He was a great pilot and very talented. Other pilots would come to his house to study with him.
Watch him fly.
And he was really talented at that. But ultimately, he had to give that because of the alcohol. He had to give that up, which was a hard thing for him to do, but he had to give that up.
Election Day is coming up on November 5th. And there's this really cool website, sendthevote.com, that makes it easy to register to vote. It's nonpartisan, which means they don't care who you're voting for. They just want to make sure you can vote.
Yeah, the whole thing with his brother, that's sad. He died at 42 years old. He could have had an awesome career as a pilot. But the alcoholism, man, the whole alcoholism stuff, that thing is dangerous. My father, thank God he's actually still alive today. Thank you, God, for keeping him, because, man, he drank a lot during all the way till let me see, because he stopped drinking, maybe, man, it's been a while, maybe, I'm going to say, close to 20 years now. So he stopped drinking around 60, let's say. No, I'm thinking he's 80. He's around 70, so around his 50s. Around his 50s, my father ended up stopping the whole drinking all together. Like, after drinking as much as he did, I remember growing up in the household, he used to drink a lot. And for sure, he was an alcoholic, right? He was an alcoholic, and but then, because of health issues and a couple of scares here and there, he left it, and he hasn't touched it since. He doesn't want it. Like, I've had conversations with him. No, he doesn't care for it anymore. So, yeah, that stuff is
It's in everything,
Yeah, no, they lose everything, and many people. And in those days, it wasn't drugs. It wasn't like, don't drink, don't take drugs. I don't think drugs, I don't even know whether they're even a factor. They happened a pretty long time ago, but I think in those days, I don't think were drugs a factor. You go back 25 years ago.
Not like it is now.
Well, certainly not like now. And
that actually takes me into something else I wanted to talk about.
ahead.
Like alcoholism and addiction is something that's really ramped up, even like you're saying, like in the past 20, 30 years in our country, right? And during the opioid epidemic, they estimate that like almost 600,000 people died.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even include the broken hearts and the deaths of families and circles of trust, just people that lost a brother. It doesn't even include the actual the siblings,
right?
And so the ripple effect of that is huge. And there's that Sackler family that pretty much got away with it. They had a financial slap on the wrist, but we're one of the only countries that allows drug advertisements and pharmaceutical companies to advertise on television. Like, what do you think are things that you can do to help curtail that when you get into office?
So, well, we did a great job.
Does that make sense or not?
Yes,
that question?
it does make sense. And we had committees, blue ribbon committees in certain cases, but committees that would meet. The big problem we have is, fentanyl is probably the biggest. Opioid is bad. Opioids bad too.
Yeah.
I think that's bad because everyone thinks, in many cases, they think they're going to do away with pain. And literally the time is so short. If you take it for like 2 weeks, you're almost addicted to it. It's incredible when you
Oh,
think.
all of that is horrible. But
How
why
did
do
you
we
get
allow
How
that
did you get addicted? How did...
No, I would just do cocaine. That was really, yeah. So not just, yeah.
That's
it was
that's down and dirty, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it was, yeah.
But you don't anymore?
No, I don't do it anymore, man, and I'm not doing
Is
it.
it too much? Too much to handle?
Some of the stuff started to
You
get a
do
real
it
rattle in it, too. I don't know
Yeah.
we were even...
Yeah, I took a line before. I did a line right before the interview, so yeah, I'll do it here or there just for leisure times, for recreational moments. He's really gonna admit he's doing cocaine.
even getting it from in this country, but yeah, it started to make me feel like I was a mechanic or
So
something.
the thing you go back to then is alcohol for the most part.
Right, yeah, but what I want probably is cocaine, but I know that if I have a drink, then it'll be like, okay, well, I had a drink, then I can do this.
Is cocaine a stronger...
So this is the moment right here. This is the whole meat and potatoes of the video. I was watching this podcast. I was listening to it, and I ran into this little part right here, and I was cracking up how Theo calls Donald Trump homie. look at Trump's face. He's like, "What'd you call me? I'm your homie now."
Oh yeah,
up?
Yeah. Cocaine
So,
will make
you're way up with cocaine more than anything else you can think of.
cocaine will turn you into a damn owl, homie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You'll be out on your own porch.
Yeah.
And you'll be your own street lamp. You're freaking.
And is that a good feeling? Well,
No,
it's a
horrible.
miserable feeling.
But you do it
as
anyway, just like the guy you're saying with the scotch. Like you knew it was bad, but you still.
So it's not even good during what would be normally the good time.
Jet says, any more food reviews soon? Yeah, I'm gonna be making way more food reviews. I got a pretty good setup. I'm still setting up I have 2 setups right here because I make videos in my other room. I make videos here, and I'm building a new setup over there at the gym. So bear with me. I am gonna be producing way more content and all that. I like doing this. I like doing it. I like streaming. I like hanging out. I like to answer questions, especially when it comes down to fitness, nutrition, training, the military, Marine Corps, drill instructor stuff, whatever it is, gaming, classic gaming, and yeah, we'll have a good little time here.
In other words, oh wow. So why would you do it?
I wouldn't. That's why I don't.
Yeah, that's terrible.
But it's crazy because that's what alcoholism is. I think it's that it trumps the why.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And
You said my webcam is lagging? Huh. Why would it be lagging? Okay, let me see. Oh, I can't change it right now. Usually output mode. I think I'm gonna put it on normal. Hopefully that'll fix it. But thank you for that, Jet. I'll check it out and see if I can fix it.
it just you don't, and you just go to. It's like, so that's why they say that it's cunning, baffling, and powerful. That's what they say about alcoholism, and it is. It's
Which is a bigger problem in our country, would you say?
opioids.
Bigger than alcohol.
Oh, for sure. I think that's one of the biggest problems.
And
Like,
compare that to fentanyl.
oh yeah, well that's the problem is people are making fake opioids because they can't afford real ones, or they're just getting them off the street and then they put fentanyl in them.
Yeah. Fentanyl's like laced into.
Hold up. Jet says, you think you're gonna switch to a Windows gaming PC for streaming? I don't think so. I actually don't really want to do too much gaming. I just do a little bit of classic. I tried the Dave the Diver, and I tried No Man's Sky, but it's like, nah, I just want to kind of chill. I don't want something too complicated. I just want to chill, listen to some podcasts, answer some questions, motivate somebody or something. So that's my intention. Jet says, any tips to start streaming and getting views? Find your niche. Find exactly what you want to do from the very start, and just continually do that. Make sure it's either educational or entertaining. Make sure that it's educational, that is something relevant that a lot of people will be interested in, and or entertaining. So, and you can actually do both as well. You can make it educational and entertaining, but it's a lot of work. You're gonna have to build a script, have some fresh ideas all the time. So yeah, find your niche, what it is that you like to do, and if it's something that you think people want to listen to or be entertained with, then start from the beginning. Don't worry about views or anything like that. Get comfortable behind the camera and just don't switch up. Keep going with that. That was my error, was that what I'm doing now is almost basically what I've been doing since day one, but I ended up switching it here and there, and I always switched it up, and I was kind of all over the place, so I don't know. That's about it. I'm thinking of starting, but don't know what to do. There you go. Should I stream on Twitch or YouTube? Or I love YouTube. YouTube, I like the whole setup. YouTube is more popular than Twitch. Twitch is actually a good platform for gaming, but then YouTube, you can do other things, not just gaming. You can do reaction videos. I think you build a bigger fan base in YouTube, but it's harder. That's why it's better, because that's why it's harder, because it's better.
To everything now, it's horrible.
It's horrible. Yeah, they found some in a baby rattle somewhere. I think I don't even know where that was. But one of the things I wanted to ask you about was like, so there's like the big pharma lobbyists. Like there's 1,800 big pharma lobbyists in Washington D.C.
Right.
There's only 535 total representatives or senators total. So just the fact that there's this whole other almost drug government that's there kind of pushing pushing agendas and influencing things. Like, how do we stop that, man? It just seems like it's obviously killing people. Like, people are dying, It's like, what do we have to do that our own government won't help us?
Well, you have to stop listening to lobbyists. I was not a big person for lobbyists. And if they have even a little access to like a president or a senator or a congressman or woman,
they're snakes.
They get a lot of money.
Yeah.
And in some cases, they just take the money. They don't do anything. But you have a lot of lobbyists in Washington pushing, and certainly a lot for all of the things that we're talking about, including
winning.
Alcohol.
The lobbyists are winning, it feels like.
Yeah, they're winning. They're making a lot of money. Absolutely.
Can you stop that? Can a president stop that? Like, how do we stop that?
Well, one way you could stop it is to say, if you're going to go into government, you can never be a lobbyist. In many cases, they have rules and regulations where you can't do it for 4 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever.
You mean be a lobbyist after you were an elected official?
All right, so let me fix this real quick. Put it in the back. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so there you have it. Right there, they're gonna go into kind of a little section of politics. I'm not really intrigued with that, but yeah, there you have it. I hope I answered some questions. I'm always here to answer any questions in regards to fitness, military training, and YouTube too. I've been doing YouTube for a good amount of time. I know the ins and outs. I'm not super popular. I don't have millions of subscribers, let alone thousands. But yeah, it's fun. It's challenging. I am monetized. I'm gonna be making a video pretty soon on how much I made on my first check here on YouTube. So I'll be doing that video for you guys, just so to give you some information for those of you that are interested in starting a channel and what it takes and stuff like that. All right. So other than that, hope you enjoy the video. We'll be doing more of these classic gaming, and listening to a podcast. We'll butt in here and there. We'll discuss something that they're talking about here on the live stream, and I'll do more. Other than that, hit that like button before you leave. Thank you for your support. Subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care, be safe, stay motivated.